To Dander Lifestyle, we're going to build an all-aluminum front bumper for my diesel TJ project. My 2002 Jeep Wrangler has been on a diet for about 5 years. I replaced a lot of parts and pieces with aluminum. I replaced the heavy 4.0 with an ultra-light turbo diesel engine out of a Volkswagen Jetta. And last year I got a hold of some scales, and it turns out the Jeep is about 4,400 pounds. I believe there's always room for improvement, and today we're going to try to make it even better. 4,000 pounds by the end of the year. That is the goal for my lightweight diesel TJ project over there. I think that a rock crawler with 40-inch tall tires and still has a full size, this still has the full frame, the full body and everything. For us to be able to get under 4,000 pounds is bananas. And all the supporting mods and a 4-speed transfer case and V8 power. This is a very unique combination of parts and pieces that we have here. And I think that if we shed another 400 pounds, it'll be that much more capable. Once we get the weight down, I'm actually planning on putting some performance enhancing drugs under the hood of this thing. So we're gonna put nitrous on it. I've got a bigger cam already, and I've got head studs already that I plan on bolting under the hood of this thing, but that's gonna be all future series. Right now, I just wanna get this as light as possible to maximize what we already have. I started by removing the spare tire, so we went from 4,400 pounds to, minus like 120 or 150 pounds. So that's already a good start. Now I'm thinking if we replace the steel front bumper with aluminum and we use design technique to strengthen up the aluminum instead of just using super thick aluminum, we can reduce the weight in the front end. And we're gonna couple that together with an ultralight winch. I got the lightest winch that I could find. This is the Warn RC 9.0. It's only 54 pounds. So I pulled the Warn Xeon 10S off of this. I put it in my Toyota Tacoma, and now we're gonna put this ultralight, ultra compact winch on here, and it's just all gonna be steps in the right direction. I'm really excited about this project, and I'm gonna start by just building a winch plate. This is how I start all my bumpers. We're gonna build the winch plate, we're gonna design it in a way that's strong, and then we're gonna slowly start to build out the rest of the bumper around it. The base of this winch plate has been built out of 1/4-inch aluminum. This should give us the strength we need and the resistance for the bolts to not pull through, but also not be so thick that we end up gaining a bunch of extra weight. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to weigh this on our scale just to see what the winch plate itself is going to weigh. And it said 7.8 pounds, so we're under 8 pounds for an entire winch plate. This little strip on the back is going to be, this is 3/8, and then the actual plate itself is 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch is thick enough that it shouldn't pull through, but it's going to have some deflection whenever we're doing really hard pulls. That's why we're adding this strip along the back to make sure that it keeps the back rigid and helps resist this from leaning forward. We've got some more work we're going to do to this, and clearly we're not done. We have to build an entire bumper, but it's very encouraging to see that a hunk this big only weighs 8 pounds. So before I start welding this little strip on the back together, I actually want to get all the steel work done, which means that I'm going to trim a little bit out of the front of the frame section, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to weld these shackle tabs from EMS Off-Road directly to the frame. And the reason I chose these is this is a new product from them that they sent me, and I was very excited when I received them because I realized that I can fit soft shackles very easily through these. And if you're like me and you like to use soft shackles, you know the pain of having to fit these through a normal shackle receiver tab. And the fact that these are shaped like this makes it to where I don't have to deal with that anymore. We can look at the old winch plate, the old winch bumper, and you can see what I'm talking about. We've got trying to feed this through that hole is just, that's not happening. So it's very cool to have a product that is finally going to solve that problem for us. Solid recovery point is about the most important thing you can build into a bumper. And the rear bumper that I built actually has shackle tabs that I made out of aluminum, and I haven't had any issues with those, but this front one is probably going to use a lot more, and I decided that it would just be easier to weld a steel shackle tab directly to the frame, and then we're just going to build our bumper to slide over the front of it. So I cut out a plate, I drilled a hole in the center of it. The reason I drilled a hole in the center of it is because I had a hole that I could fill with weld that secures this plate to the tube, and then we just welded around the outside, and that plate that we built is not going anywhere. I think it's super strong. Then I just butt welded these two shackle tabs to the front of that, and we're ready to go. So now the aluminum bumper is going to slide right over the front of it, and it's going to make it to where we have a really good, solid recovery point, and we still get the benefits of having a lightweight bumper. After bolting on the winch plate and having a good look at it, I decided that I didn't want or need these two front recovery points. I have a hidden recovery hook that I bolted onto the inside of the frame the first week that I bought this Jeep back in 2006, and it's always been a solid anchor point. So all I need to do is cut out the front of the bumper to accommodate a strap and smooth it out in a way that it won't damage a strap or a rope whenever I need to use it. I have the lower bumper built and installed. This has just got a rough grind on it right now, but this checks all the boxes of what I wanted the lower bumper to do. It is a winch plate. It is a skid plate. We're going to replace the skid plate for our steering box, and it's also a recovery point. Now, I got rid of those other two recovery points just because I didn't like the way they looked, and it was going to kind of make this a little more complicated than it needed to be. So I just built a little cutout so we have easy access to this recovery hook that I installed back in 2006 when I bought this Jeep, and I think this is going to work just fine. Now, I'm going to do what a lot of people would probably disagree with taste-wise, and I'm going to install a stinger on here. To me, this Jeep has a lot of memories of what was popular in the time when I bought it, and the stinger bumpers were humongous in 2006 whenever I bought this Jeep. So we are going to build a stinger. We're going to try to modernize it. I want to build a bumper that doesn't look like everybody else's bumper that's out there right now. And if you go on Instagram, you're going to see a ton of bumpers for TJs and JKs and everything else that have a hoop bent around the grill, and then they have a mini stinger, and then it's tied together. And I just don't want to be like the hundreds of thousands of other Jeeps out there. I'd like to build something somewhat original. So we're going to do our best to do that. I think that I might do a stinger and do a second bar that's going to be bull bar shaped, and then tie it all together with some webbing. I guess we'll see once we start building it. We have a problem. This has a giant crack in it because I bought the wrong material. I went to the metal supplier that I normally go to. I walked in there, I saw a tube. It looked like 1 3/4 to me, and I just grabbed it and I bought pipe. And that's a problem because there are different grades of pipe. So another type of aluminum pipe might actually be able to bend, but this one is not. This split right away. I mean, what do we get? 15 degrees out of that probably, and it split. We got to go up to like 50. And then I wanted to use this same material to bend our stinger. So we're going to have to do a plan B. This Jeep has to be on a trailer for Southern California tomorrow. So that means that this project has to be done today. I don't have time to go up to the metal supplier and get the right stuff. So I've got to just look through what I have in the shop, and we're going to have to build what we can with what we have. Luckily, I was able to find a small chunk of 1.5 inch tube that was the correct alloy, so it bent just fine, and even though I didn't have a lot of it, I was able to make a small hoop to add a little bit of flair to this bumper. I prefer to use 1.75 inch for jobs like this, but this winch body is so small that you can't really tell that it's a smaller tube than I usually use. On this bumper is now cured. We are ready to go to King of the Hammers. You might be able to hear it in the background. I've got my RV next to the shop warming up because I basically need to bolt this bumper on, and then we need to load it onto a trailer and we need to head to Southern California. But before we bolt this bumper on, I'd like to get a before and after weight. So I'm going to break out the scale. We're going to try our best to balance everything in a way that we can weigh it accurately. But I want to weigh the aluminum bumper, and then I'm going to take all my old steel stuff and we're going to weigh that and see how much weight we lost. 18 pounds. $55.8 pounds. We made it. We're in Johnson Valley, California. We're at the King of the Hammers, and if you look behind me on this beautiful backdrop, you will see Hammertown. So I have the bumper installed, and this week is essentially going to be kind of a test because I look at everything I build as being a test. Is aluminum going to be able to withstand long-term the amount of abuse that I'm going to give it on a rig like this? I'm sure a lot of you guys are wearing the exact same thing. Is it going to be strong enough for really hard winch pulls? All those things. This is all a big test. So last night I couldn't help myself. I had to get it up and get it on a trail. So last night we went and we hit some trails. I got a little bit of rock rash, which is encouraging because I was definitely banging into some rocks, and it still looks okay. So let's just take a look at the bumper real quick and we'll talk about it. What do you guys think? Drop a comment below. I'm very curious as to what you guys think of the overall fit and finish of this bumper. It's a little bit weird. I haven't seen one like it before, but as you saw in the video, I was just working with what I had laying around in the shop, and we ended up with a minimalist bumper. I think that it matches the character of the Jeep pretty well. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't have enough material to make a big stinger because to me, a stinger would match the older character of this generation of Jeep. But either way, I'm curious to see what you guys think, so make sure that you drop a comment and let me know. I think this little worn winch fits really nicely up here, and I also like this extra gear from Factor 55. I haven't ran much of their stuff in the past, so this is going to be a big test for the bumper, big test for this new gear from Factor 55, and even a big test for this winch. I mean, it's pretty small, and it's got shorter amount of line. So I think I can get away with this short amount of line, but I guess if I can't, I'll just have to use some line extensions. So I'll let you guys all know in the future what I think about the winch and this Factor 55 gear and all that stuff. But for now, this video is over. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to see our week here at King of the Hammers, head over to my buddy Max Powell's YouTube channel. I will put a link to his channel in the description of this video, but I'm going to take the week off. I'm just going to help him film. I'm not going to worry about making my own videos. I'm just going to relax a little bit. And if you want to see what it's like out here and all the fun stuff we get into, and if anything breaks and all that other stuff, head over to his channel and check out the video.
Yeah, man. You drive, I'll film.
Yeah, I like it.
Good deal.
All right, thanks. See you later, guys.